welcome to another edition of Talk with Confidence. This is where we have inspirational conversations with inspirational people. Today, I have a truly inspirational character in studio with us. His name is Mr. Thabang, Tlaka, and he's a clinical psychologist. Mr. Thabang, Tlaka, welcome.
Yes, how are you?
No, I'm doing well, my brother. Thank you for honoring the invite.
No, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, we've been meaning to have you here. You're doing quite a lot of stuff that we're interested in on this show. Helping people, inspiring people, helping people with different psychological issues, and it's something that we are truly passionate about on this show.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So who is Thabang Tlaka?
Thabang Tlaka.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
Thabang Tlaka is just a young man who enjoys helping people find themselves. I do that through psychology. So I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm an author. I'm a poet. I make films. But grew up in Limpopo, studied, went to schools in Limpopo, the West Rand, eventually went to the University of Pretoria. And then, yeah, I'm mostly a psychologist, but I do different things across different contexts.
Wonderful. When do you think of the psychology field? As you mentioned, you're a clinical psychologist, but you get industrial psychologists, you get a positive psychologist. So there's many different fields. What differentiates clinical psychology from those other fields of psychology?
Okay, so in South Africa, you have clinical psychology, which clinical psychologists usually work in hospitals. They deal more with clinical conditions like depression, anorexia, schizophrenia, usually working with psychiatrists. Industrial psychologists are more in a business context, business organization, dealing with such things. Then you have counseling psychologists are more dealing with family, adult issues that are not necessarily so clinical. You get educational psychologists who work with educational issues, children who are not able to study or have learning problems, school readiness. You go to an educational psychologist. You have what we call now, they are trying to develop a forensic psychologist. So if somebody has committed a crime, or people who've been in accidents and somebody's trying to help the court understand the situation better or the case better, your forensic psychologists doing that. And then in other countries, you've got different, it's an array. You have people who are you have cyber psychologists, positive psychologists, so environmental psychologists. So it's quite a broad field that we have. But in South Africa, we're limited to, it's clinical, it's counseling, it's industrial, it's research psychologists. They do market research, they do research for different things, research psychologists. So I think we have about 5 or 6, but it's growing, it's developing.
What made you choose clinical psychology with the many options that were on the table?
I mean, when you go to varsity, that's the one that seems to be promoted. Or there are these myths. It's like doctors. I mean, they say the top doctors are they're the surgeons. They're the rock stars, of the field. So when you're a surgeon, so in psychology, it's more clinical.
So clinical psychology are the rock stars of psychology.
Well, they would like to think so, but not really. But that's what it seems to be promoted in the beginning. You do clinical, you've got options, because as a clinical psychologist, you get to do an array, whereas the other ones are more focused, but people, as they grow, as you learn about yourself, you find that maybe you might want to develop in a certain area. Okay,
wonderful. You mentioned that you do other stuff. You mentioned filmmaking, poetry, and also you're an author, a serial author.
Yeah. So I used to define myself with those things. I think when I started, I used to call myself a poet. Because I wrote poetry. I used to watch National Geographic. And then, they narrate, and the lion is attacking. So I used to like that. I said, yo, I could do that. So I started writing. Then it became poetry. I started performing poetry. But then I started writing other things like scripts, the plays. Then I wrote a book. Then I learned that I'm just a creative. I'm just a creative individual. I like ideas. I like crystallizing ideas. So I write. The one thing I think about every day is writing, just understanding things, you know. So I think it just comes in the form of writing, and now I've just found ways that I can express it in terms of poetry, in terms of stage plays, screen. So I'm just a writer, and I'm exploring different mediums.
So the different mediums are merely outlets for that creativity and for the message that you want to communicate.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's beautiful, because I mean, as a creative, you don't want to box
yourself
as well.
Yeah.
And say, me, I'm just a poet.
Yeah.
All I do is poetry. Whereas you've got other elements and aspects to that talent that you can explore and create more beautiful stuff. Okay, we say that you are an author, not just an author, a serial author. In
like yourself.
I love saying this whenever I talk about serial authors. I say in the criminal world, when somebody kills, they are considered a killer. But if they kill and they kill again, they are a serial killer. So you've written again. So you're a serial author. Can you tell us about this particular book, The Taxi Philosopher? I love the title, man.
Yeah, actually, it came from a very interesting place. It was when the idea came when I was riding in taxis. I was a student in Pretoria. And then so the taxi drivers the treatment we used to get was very unpleasant, for lack of a better word. It was very unpleasant. I remember getting upset, and I started writing, thinking I'm going to report these people. And whilst I was writing, I said, but do I really want to be negative? And then so it just morphed as I became a psychologist. I said, wow, I remember that Freud used to teach his students, he used to hone his psychological skills by studying plays and Shakespeare's work. Then I thought, the taxi could be my context. So then the book came along. So then I started writing. Taxi Philosopher is about a psychologist, a young psychologist, who travels in taxis, and then he sees things in the taxi. He'll write about it. So in the taxi, somebody could talk about death, he'll think about it. He could talk about xenophobia, he'll write about it. Somebody could talk about Mandela's passing, he'd write about it. So that's what the book is about.
That's beautiful, man. I mean, and it's got a very rooted South African context.
Yes.
And I mean, taxis are very vibrant places.
Yes.
You meet different people every day, or maybe not meet, but you interact, and you're in and around different people talking about different things, and it gives you a lot of fodder for a lot of material for such a book as this. So
I was gonna say it's even personality wise, if you go in a taxi, just the seating arrangement. When we were studying psychology, there's a thing that they taught us. It's called dynamic administration. The way the furniture in a building affects how people behave. They do it in airports, and just the space affects people. So even in a taxi, you'll see the person who go for the front seat is a different kind of person. The one who does not mind taking money. So other people avoid that. The ones who've got some baggage will probably want to sit behind the driver. There are people who just want the back seat. There are people who want the middle seat. There are people who don't want to move. And all those things are layered. They tell us something about the person. So when we're traveling in taxis, it's quite a world. If you pay attention.
Man. That's beautiful. What are some of the memorable stories, anecdotes that you discovered or you interacted with during that period?
The taxi rank, in fact, if I can put it that way. I mean, so when you go to a taxi rank, there's such a vibrancy, good and bad, moving at the same time. When you think of a taxi on the road, it's a metaphor for life. Some people are in small cars and big cars. You're on one road, and so you learn a lot about life. The way that people are busy, the busyness of life. That you could be so busy, but you can, in fact, sometimes pull away from the busyness. So those are just going to the taxi rank, people cooking there, people fighting for the space, taxi drivers fighting, but also making a living, people not wanting their children to do the job that they're doing. So those are some of the things that stand out for me.
Wow, very colorful.
Yeah.
You know, when you speak to a writer, you can sense and hear, or no, this person.
There's detail there.
Yeah, it's not a typist, it's a writer.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful, man. And also you turned it into
an audiobook.
An audiobook.
Yes. So because that's how I go through books. I'm so busy. I struggle to sit and write. But I call my car a university.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, because when you commute, 30 minutes, that's an hour. The average book is about 6-8 hours. You could do a book in like a week or a week and a half.
That's
and in a year, you can think
how many books
you go through.
That's food for thought. And I mean, converting your book into an audiobook also, I guess, caters to
different
the
people.
new. Yes. So a lot of people, like you're saying, don't have time to sit and actually read.
Yes.
But this gives them another avenue to consume a material.
Yes, on a phone.
Yes.
It's MP3, so on a phone, in the car, on your laptop. So
wonderful. Your second book, the title is quite suggestive.
Corrupting Virgins.
Corrupting Virgins,
yeah,
is the title. I said to you off air that I love beyond the content, I love just the feel of the book as well, real quality, you know.
Yeah.
So what is Corrupting Virgins about?
Yeah, Corrupting Virgins was actually inspired by one young lady. I mean, I remember I was sitting in the office, a young lady came to my office, she was being bullied at school. And because, and the accusation was, she doesn't have experience. She hasn't slept with a boy, and that's why she's so stupid. That's what they said. And I thought, how the world is flipped upside down. She's stupid because she doesn't have experience, you know, that kind of experience. And I thought of the different people who went through different things. Yes. So I wrote this book. It's about 5 boys and 5 girls who are going to a village. Which is a metaphor for life, that sometimes in life we are going somewhere. But on our journey, there are people who are going to try to derail you, to try and corrupt you. And largely in this book, it's dealing with people who want to maintain a certain level of, I suppose, purity, want to keep themselves, who are thinking very deeply about sexual things, and how people try to tempt them through social media, through sugar daddies, through drugs, through just having fun, through different elements where when you have a purpose, when you have a goal, to not think that everybody is your friend, or to not think that you will not get sidetracked. So it's a book in a sense about trying to focus on your journey when we live in a country, on a continent where many will try to corrupt you.
And I mean, sexual issues are somewhat taboo.
Yeah.
In Africa, especially, you know, it's stuff that, you know, parents don't talk to their kids about it.
Yes.
It's you know, it's shrugged.
Yes.
Behind the table, you know.
Yeah.
So what do you believe is the importance or significance of talking about such issues? It's
important. In fact, I mean, they did somebody was conducting a study. They sat with young people and they asked them. They said they were asking them issues about sexual issues. So where do you want to learn about sex and boys and girls and those things? They say we wish our parents spoke to us, but they don't. So the way we learn is through media, through the sex industry, through, you know, and sometimes it comes with the context is not really good in that you get ideas that are really harmful in the future, and we have a problem of teenage pregnancies in the world. In South Africa, I mean, if you're a teenage mom, statistics say that your child is also going to become a teenage mom. It's a vicious cycle. It's going to affect where you're going to work, the kind of life you will have, the kind of people you interact with. So it's a vicious cycle. It's something that we cannot ignore. Even we were talking earlier on our way here, even with say church people, believers, you know, the subject is not approached. People think I go to church and somehow it must work automatically. But you don't read up, you don't understand how the body works, you don't understand how men and women work, and so it's very important to get good education and so to think about these things and in a good environment where you can have a healthy discussion.
In a somewhat protected environment.
Yes, because you don't have to hurt yourself and then gain wisdom from that. You don't always have to do that.
Yeah, you can. They say wisdom is learning from the mistakes and experiences of others, you know, instead of you going through the pain of.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this book is in the form of a story. Yeah,
it's a story. It's like a novel. In fact, when I wrote it, I was thinking of a film. Yeah, if I had millions, if I had millions, we're making an African Harry Potter.
Wow, beautiful,
right
man.
now.
Beautiful, beautiful. There's another book that you're busy with at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yes, so there's Selfie of the Soul, but that's for next time. It's not that. The one that I'm working on is Focus and Flourish. Essentially, the idea that what we pay attention to will grow, what we neglect will wither and die. Most of us,
Can you repeat that?
what you focus on will grow, what you ignore will wither and die. A lot of us think that we have to do a lot of things. We live in a context where everybody's hustling. You must hustle for this, must hustle for that. But there's one thing about reality is that you always have more ideas than the time to pursue them. So if you want to be really focused and achieve in life, it would be wise to find something that really moves you and pay attention to that and let it grow and develop it, because you keep enhancing it. If you take a magnifying glass, when you focus it, it's when it can burn. If you sharpen an axe, that's when it can burn. I think there's a story about Abraham Lincoln. He was told he made the example about if somebody had to cut a tree, the two people had to cut a tree, how would they approach it? So one person would just start cutting the tree. If they had 8 hours, the other one would spend the first 6 hours sharpening what they want to do. So there is wisdom in working on something. It might take time for you to develop, but once you crack that thing, the world is really your oyster. So a lot of us are distracted by social media. By distractions are not necessarily even bad things. A good idea can be a distraction. Jack Ma, the Chinese billionaire, says that when somebody approaches them with an idea, he always asks, but does that idea, is it in line with what we are doing? If it is, we can take it up. If not, we wish you the best, because he has understood that this is the almost the fulcrum, the root, the corner, the foundation of what makes us. And a lot of successful people miss that sometimes. That you were doing something and it worked for you, then you became popular, you go for interviews, you start traveling, you forget that the thing that made you forget that. If I say think of anybody famous or who has made it, you think they're doing one thing, but you find that they are doing other things, but there's a one thing you know them for. If I say Bill Gates, you think one thing. If I think of musicians, certain musicians, you'll think one thing. But they've got other interests. Maybe they invest there and there, but there's this one thing. So what's your one thing? Find it, work on it, develop it. It will open doors for other things.
Beautiful, man. I love that. So you're talking positive psychology now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they relate as well, because in clinical psychology, it is about helping people. And I'm seeing the constant theme from your different books and your current book, your purpose. What is that particular purpose?
I'm here to. It's the World Cup happening now, right? There's this gentleman called De Bruyne. And they say he's known, he plays for Belgium, he's good for assists. He assists you and you get your goals. So that's me. I'm here. I'm saying, what are your goals? I'm here to assist you. I'm here to light your dreams on fire. So, and I think my name is Thabang. I think it was
Thabang
I think my parents were very prophetic in that. I think I just love seeing a human being blossom.
Beautiful.
So man. I think that's what I'm about. I'm about, this is you, what do you want? And how can we get there?
Awesome. And as I said, I'm seeing that very same consistent theme, but I wanted you to verbalize it. Where do you see Thabang Tlaka in 10 years' time? 10
years' time? Wow. I mean, sometimes I wake up at night and I'm crying because my dreams mock me. They're too scary to share. Sound like I'm crazy. But I think I'll be doing what I'm doing right now, just on a different level. Yeah, I'll be doing the same things, just on a different scales. I get too scared to share the things, because I'll sound like a madman. So I'd rather let time tell.
Beautiful. If people want to get hold of your books, get hold of you, where can they find you?
So I've got a website, www.thabantlaka.co.za. I'm on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page. I've got a Twitter account. I've got an Instagram. I think on those platforms you get contact numbers. If you can just go on those platforms and email, message, call, and then we can make a plan with how you get the material and other things that I offer.
Wonderful. Mr. Thabang Tlaka, I want to have you back on this show when your book is published, your new book.
Focus and Flourish.
Focus and Flourish. Is that a deal?
Yeah. We'll come back and talk about the insights.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was truly inspirational. That was Mr. Thabang Tlaka. He has found his one thing. He's doing many things, but they are all honed and core on one particular thing, and that is to assist people. We've coined a new name for him, Mr. Thabang the Brain. And that was Talk with Confidence. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to Global Conference Television. Eternal.